for round 2 of season 2. Just started qualifying now. Today I will, well, I'm going to check the stream is working. This is the 3rd attempt. For some reason internet works less in the evenings. I'm guessing it's because there's more people on the internet. I'll have to look into maybe doing something for that in the future. I have technically improved my internet, but clearly not enough to get this to work perfectly. So I'm going to wait a couple of minutes to check this is all working. Sorry the quality isn't great. It should be better than last time, and it should be back to what it was in Season 1, as that is Contis. Hugo almost going around there, very close to getting it out onto the grass. But, so yeah, it should be the same quality as it was for Season 1, hopefully. Sorry if there are issues. I did try and go for much better quality, but because of the time of day and because of my internet speed, it isn't able to do that. I am now fairly confident that the stream is properly up now. So there'll be, those watching, there will be a couple of us that are a bit glitched underneath this. So I'll try and get rid of them now if I can. Give me a few moments, as I'll let you guys, I am solo today. I'll go into why in a couple of minutes. But I'll let you guys go through a few of the cars. So who's on a lap at the moment? Jarno is currently on a lap, setting purple sector 1. So we will watch his lap on the hard compound tyres. Let's get the tyre choices up quickly. So here's the tyre choices, and I'll let you look at that whilst I just check the YouTube is working. Sorry that I have to do this. Usually I've got my co-commentator to help me out, but we'll, as I said, we'll go into that in a minute. Looks like the first 2 failed completely, so that is a good sign. Let's see how good is the quality or bad is the quality. It's about the same as Season 1, which is good to see. So, I hope you guys, I've got my the chat up on my phone as well as on the screen. If the chat on the screen glitches, I'll take it down. Just so it's easier for me to see comments, then I don't have to keep looking down at my phone. And we now hear from Joshy, who is in the race. Dry quali, dry race. So this is going to be very... this is going to go in favour of some drivers and go against some of the others. Some of the drivers who have set soft tyre laps, it's going to hurt them, I think. Because... Or was that as a car off in the barriers? That is a Red Bull. Is that Josh, who is currently on top? No, it is Thomas. Has he broken his wing? Or was he just getting out of the way of cars? He has broken his wing. Looks like he spun it and got into the barriers. And the chat on the screen is not working, so give me a second, everyone. Sorry about this. Sorry for the screen on the side. Well, the blue screen across the whole screen. Hopefully you can still hear me. And it should be back up now, and now you've got a nice full screen view all. Thank you for all the viewers who are currently tuning in. I will quickly send a link to this to the drivers. Who is on a lap at the moment? It is Tim, currently on a soft tyre lap. Now, both Renaults have qualifying bans for retiring on circuit in the last event. So they will be locking out the back row of the grid unless somebody somehow gets disqualified from this session. But in that case, if someone's able to get disqualified, they should be starting at the back of the grid behind those who have quali bans. Because that isn't a disqualification, I'm just banning them from setting a lap. His quality is looking good. As Tim does enter the pits. They're allowed to go out on circuit to set a out lap or a 3-minute lap time, which so far, as Tim has now retired in the pit lane, which is the correct place to retire, so well done to Tim there. Is there anyone out on a lap at the moment? It is James currently on a lap on the medium tyres. I believe the one stop will be possible from mediums to hards. I'm not sure it will be possible from softs to hards. So those starting on the mediums or the hards, I believe they're in the best possible position at the moment. But that could change when we get into the race. because some drivers may not be able. Some drivers may choose to take the 2-stop. Some will take the 1-stop, and we don't know what's quicker. I assume, and I would say I'm 90% sure the 1-stop is significantly quicker. So keep an eye on the drivers who are on the set it to best, so that we can see what they actually set their lap on. And we can look through some of the drivers. So now 7 viewers on YouTube. And keep the comments open so I can see what is going on. As Kimmy, one of the other drivers who is in the chat, so we've got Joshy and Kimmy currently in the chat. As James, ready to come across the line now, and goes 3rd quickest on the medium tyres. That is a very good lap time. Currently 4/10 off the pole. We could have a surprise pole position here if some drivers choose to qualify on the softs and don't go for the mediums. Now the mediums is the decisively better strategy, but it's whether some drivers value that track position at the start over the long-term race pace. So it is up to them. Some drivers will go one way, some will go the other. Those who have set laps on the soft side, doubt they'll be able to beat them unless they've deliberately backed off on their lap. Other than that, as James getting out of the way, let's go to Wilbo. Who is he on a lap at the moment? I think he's on a few laps. I think Jarno is on an out lap currently. Is anyone on a lap? Is Trevor Sin on a lap? Does look like they are. So heading down the back straight and going into the hairpin, and is backing off. So whilst we have this brief quiet spell in the session, I will tell you why I am alone today. And Owen, he is unwell at the moment. He's been ill for a couple of days now, and because of this, the stream is only on YouTube, and we hope Owen can get well soon. And if Owen is listening, from all the drivers in Torpedo League, we really do hope that you get well as soon as possible. Now with 7.5 minutes left in this session, we've got a few drivers out on track. Ferguson, not much ERS, so I doubt this lap's going to be a top lap. Jarno is now starting his flying lap. We'll go on board with him here. Heading through this tight and twisty Sector 1. We could see some carnage here on the first lap of the race, as we do have a yellow flag Sector 3. I can't see anyone with any major issues. Jarno really pushing here. Nice and clean through there, turn 6 that is. As Hugo goes to top on a 131.3 on the soft tyres, so it's fair to say he is nailing in a 2-stop strategy in the race. But he could get his first pole position. That is the driver who came second in F2 Season 1. Speaking of F2, the first round of Season 2 of F2 around China was on the YouTube channel yesterday. It is still on there, and it will stay on there. So anyone who is interested in seeing the stars of tomorrow, the drivers on the road to Torpedo League, go check it out, because there was some amazing racing, and it looks like there's going to be a great championship battle there. But after first 2 races, I'm not going to spoil anything, so for those that do want to go check it out, do after the race. Yeah, it does look like we are going to have a good championship battle in the F2 season, as slightly wide goes Jarno. Crosses the line and goes into 9th place. Not a great position there for a driver who was fighting at the front last season. Josh currently in 2nd. Crashed out of the first race of the season, and currently in 2nd on the grid. That would be an outstanding qualifying for the Red Bull driver. Some of the drivers who do decide to qualify on the softs could set some crazy lap times. As let's have a look through the rest of the field. Some other drivers to look at. Some drivers who had a bad race last time. Joshy currently in the pit lane. He had a bad race last time, but I think a 6-stop strategy in the end. 5 or 6 stops. So I think he's one of the drivers to keep an eye on in this one. Does he have the pace to fight for points as Kimmy on a fast lap now? Camera automatically changing there. I don't know what that was. He's heading into the hairpin. He's on the medium tyres. He missed round 1. But he is back for round 2, and good luck to him. The drivers who missed this race well, the drivers who missed round 1 were Kimi and Fares, and both of those are in this race, as Kimi comes across the line to go 10th place, a decent lap there on the medium tyres, and that's the 4th quickest lap on the medium compound. So the reserves we have for this race are Buller, Wilbo, and they are the only 2 reserves in this one, and they are replacing, or they are in the reserve place for Colpo and Miguel. So hopefully we can see those 2 in the next race, and we hope all is okay. Buller currently up in P3, Wilbo in P7. We did see Wilbo for a couple races last season, I believe, as a reserve driver. We have never seen Buller, as he is new to the F2. He is the full-time UNI Virtuosi driver in the F2 league. Wilbo is a Dams driver. Wilbo showed some good pace. Both of them showed some decent pace in the F2 car. Kimi, I think, on a in lap now. Can't really tell if he's really pushing it. It does look like he's on the edge at the moment. As Josh has retired from the session, that is in the pit lane, so it does not look like he believes he can go any quicker. So Josh, best position now of 2nd. You'd have to imagine some drivers behind him may go quicker. Buller, I feel like he is a quicker driver. So I think he may be able to steal that 2nd away. It really is the soft drivers who are going to dominate this qualifying. And so far, James up in 4th at the moment. Really needs to bounce back. He's got an opportunity here to really bounce back from losing from coming, I think, 2nd last race in Abu Dhabi, being beaten by the F2 champion Tim. But with Tim and Robert, both Renaults, who finished 1st and 3rd in the first race, being disqualified from qualifying due to retiring on circuit in qualifying of Abu Dhabi, which is a rule that is in the league. As Joshi currently in 16th place on the grid. He has got a new helmet for this one, a proper Toro Rosso helmet. Is he on circuit currently? Yes, he is. Let's have a look at the top of this new helmet. The blue and the red, they do look like some nice colours there. They really do blend in with that Toro Rosso. He is the co-owner of the Elite Drivers League, which I think a couple of the Torpedo League drivers race in. Why Always Pips, Smilix Kyle are 2 of the drivers, along with myself, who also races in it. They're also on YouTube, so do go check them out. Very good racing there, and very tight battle for the championship at this stage of their season. And we could have a very similar thing in Torpedo League if James takes the win here today and Tim maybe doesn't get a great result. That would get James back at the front, and I think James really needs to bounce back. Fair's a bit of a surprise. We do have a yellow flag sector 2, and it is just a Williams letting a car through. Fair's, I said in round 1 that James was really held back by the fact he didn't have a teammate. I think it was on the safety car restart when James is being hounded by the 2 Renaults. He needed that number 2 driver to be there and helping him out, and he didn't have that. So can Fairs be that for this race as Fairs comes around the final corner? Doesn't look like a great lap. What will it be? Is a 133.3 and does not improve, it doesn't look like. He's going to have to go for another lap as he's really revving out that 7th gear there. That wasn't an engine glitch, that was just him not gearing up. As he goes all the way down to 1st there. It just doesn't seem like it seems like he's really struggling in China. And it's starting to see like James is going to really need the 2 runners being at the back of the grid as they are, just to be able to get through into the, just be able to defend himself, because with Fairs at the back, he could do a good job for his teammate though, if he does hold up the Renaults. Because Fairs is a quick driver. He was in the fight for 3 races where he's in the fight for the win last season. To see him down in 17th, that is a surprise. He wasn't necessarily the quickest driver, but he should definitely be a good wingman. Worst case scenario, he would be a great wingman for James. Best case scenario, he'll be fighting for that championship with James. Renault have definitely got a solid first driver, second driver system in my opinion. Robert, I would say, definitely the slower of the 2 Renaults in Abu Dhabi, and he did a good job as the slower of the 2 Renaults. Looks like the qualifying is coming to an end as cars are letting each other through. What is going on here as Fairs Anyone on a lap? It is Joshy who is currently on a lap. Doesn't look like an especially quick one. He's getting the slipstream here of one of the racing points. I believe that is the racing point of Forever Sin. Hugo is in the pit lane. Gets a good apex there. Could have taken a bit more curb. Coming out into the final corner. And he boxes. Not a good enough lap. So Joshy down in 18th place. Last of the qualifiers. That is not what you'd expect. So that's one of our big surprises. Buller up in third currently and on a lap. Buller could, currently up on his time. Could Buller get on the front row of his first ever race? This is just as a reserve role. This is a one-off appearance. We may see him 1 or 2 times later in the season as a reserve, but we do like to try and rotate them so that all of the reserves get a chance to drive. As let me quickly, I'll turn notifications off between sessions here, as I'm getting quite a lot of messages. Sorry about the black square in the corner of the screen. You won't be able to see the top guys. That's Kimi! Kimi goes quickest. On the soft tyres, Kimi goes to the pole. Can Buller make it a 1-2 for Ferrari? Through the final corner. The pressure's on now. His teammate set, sorry for the black box again. And where does he go? I think it's just P4. P3 for Buller. So Ferrari starting first and third. Very strong. But both on the soft tyres. So that's going to hurt them in the strategy. As Thomas is not happy with that qualifying. 7th, not great for a driver who has qualified on the softs and is essentially throwing race strategy out of the window. I'm sorry, what? I am quickly going to turn off notifications because they're having a chat in another group chat and they will not stop. I usually turn them off before, and I've forgotten for the first 2 races of Season 2, which is a great start to the season. Yes. Kimi on the pole. Hugo, F2 runner-up, starting up in 2nd, Buller 3rd, Josh 4th, and James, lead medium runner, in 5th. Seems like we've got a few drivers disappointed with their qualifying. As Forever Sin said he had a 131, but messed it up at the final corner. But I would like to congratulate Kimi on what I believe is his first pole position of the season. So, big congratulations to Kimi, very good job, as it is very overcast here. So despite it being forecast as a dry race, it does look very overcast, as the drivers are loading in now. So, Josh crashed out on lap 1 of the last race, starting from 2nd on the grid here. This is why I like the strategy of a 50% race, because you have the mix. You have the drivers who are in the top drivers, who choose to go onto the mediums to be a bit safer because they know the race strategy they can fight back through. Then you've got the lower down drivers who think, I'm not going to have a great race anyway, I might as well try something different. As we are now on the formation lap. And I will now run you quickly through the grid order, as the Renaults, I think they want to get to the front of the grid, just to show off where they should be qualifying perhaps. So, Kimi on pole position for Ferrari. Hugo starting 2nd for Racing Point. Buller 3rd for Ferrari. Very strong qualifying for the Ferrari duo. Josh up in 4th, sorry, so he didn't have a great end to that qualifying session, but 4th is still a very good job for a driver who crashed out of round 1. So congratulations to him in the Red Bull car. It is then James in 5th place in the Mercedes. The Season 1 champion will be looking for a good result here today. Wilbo in the Williams, another reserve driver, up in 6th. Oh, as he spins it on the formation lap into the barriers there. It looks like he just locked the rears up. So great timing to go to him. But strong qualifying, at least, for the Williams team there. As then we have Thomas, who is got 7th on the grid for Red Bull. So Red Bull, another team with a strong qualifying position. Then it is Tarosso Bogdan starting 8th and massively out-qualifying his teammate. Then we've got Manu is back for this race. We don't have little Manu, we have the real Manu here in 9th place for Alfa Romeo on the medium tyres. Very good job for him. Then it is Branny for McLaren in 10th place, another driver who has qualified on the medium. So these are the drivers to watch out for in the race. As let's have a look at the tyres everyone is starting on. Then we have Ivan in the Alfa Romeo, also starting on the medium tyres. 11th on the grid, just outside of the top 10. Godzilla in the Haas car, Another driver on the medium, as the top ones outside of the top lane can choose what tyres they start on. So Godzilla on the medium tyres. I now have 11 viewers. And Thomas, I would agree with you. A lot of people do not know how to drive on the formation lap. And Godzilla hitting the brake marking board has, I wouldn't say shown it to perfection, because he was doing what he should be doing, just weaving, and he's gone a bit wide. I've done that before. It is then Forever Sin in the Racing Point 13th. I'll have to fly through these final ones. Yano in the Williams 14th. It's Just in the Haas in 15th. Kyle in the McLaren in 16th. Fairs in the Mercedes in 17th. Joshi in the Toro Rosso in 18th. Then we have a back row lockout for the Renault Duo. As we head back to the front of the field, as the final driver, It's Just is lining up to the grid. So, all the viewers looking forward to a race here. It's almost time for lights out, as we do go to the grid here. As we wait for the lights. Lights are coming on now. Revs are up. It's lights out and away we go. Kimi, will that start be good enough? He's got his teammate all over the back of him. Could Buller take the lead here into turn 1? Oh, there's almost contact. It's Ferrari taking 1-2. Kimi's gone wide. And Buller takes the lead the race into turn 1. There's contact. There's Hugo trying to get up the inside. As Buller takes the lead for Ferrari as a reserve. Hugo trying to do his best as James is up into 3rd place. Could he get another place here to get up into 2nd? Hugo just looking for the grip as Josh down into 5th place. James, oh, Hugo's around the outside and he's tapped the back there. Surely there must be some minor wing damage on that Racing Point. So, Buller leads the race. Kimi, 2nd. James all over the back of him in 3rd. Then it's Hugo 4th. Josh 5th. As he's wheel to wheel there, as the battling in the midfield is so strong. As James all over the back of Kimi for 2nd. The drivers all backing up. As that is a Mercedes, it's Fairs. Fairs has gone off in Sector 2 and he's spinning back onto the circuit there. Down to the back of the grid as Manu has clearly had an issue as well, down in 19th. The Renaults, not a great start for them, battling it for 16th at the moment. Tim just ahead. These two could be the ones to watch as Yano and Kyle wheel to wheel through this corner here. As that is Hugo has gone wide out of the long right-hander. Let's look. James doesn't look like he's close enough on this lap. Will he go for it as there's battling further down the order? Josh, as that's Bogdan up the inside of Hugo. Bogdan with a very good start here. He has got Ivan on the back of him though. And the soft tyres runners are having a good start compared to some of the medium tyre runners who haven't had a great one. As Godzilla is round in the background. And that looked like he's got a bit of... Godzilla is lagging a lot at the moment. Godzilla looks to be suffering. Oh, he's on straight on. I think that's lag though. Godzilla's out. Virtual safety car. I really don't know what is going on with Godzilla there. As you have a virtual safety car to calm things down. If that was a deliberate crash, as it did look, although it could be lag, because the game was clearly lagging a lot there when going on board with him. But if it was a deliberate crash, I'm not saying it is, but on the off chance that it was, and Godzilla basically admits it, not literally, but if his onboard shows it was deliberate, then that is actually a race ban. As it's green, again, Buller leads, Kimi in 2nd, James in 3rd. I think he is now definite favourite for the win. The next medium tyre runner is Ivan, all over the back of Bogdan, trying to get up into 6th place. As Freversin and Thomas are wheeled, well, Freversin has made the pass on Freversin. Wilpo watching them battle. It's just as Josh, he's had a great start, getting 5 places, but he's got the Renaults behind him. As Rob has had a great restart and has dropped back down, got quite a big gap to his teammate now already. Then it's Yano, Manu, Branny, and Fairs, who hasn't pitted, but looks like he is on the back of the field, so that is good to see. As we're racing for the lead, the Ferrari side by side, into the hairpin. Kimi around the outside, can he pull it off? Doesn't look like he can. Watching from James's view here, the Ferraris are wheel to wheel going to the final corner. Kimi with the inside, takes the lead of the race, but will Buller get the better exit? He's gone a bit wide there, and he's gone back side by side. Can James pull this one off? It's 3 wide for the lead of the race. James to the inside. Can he get it? There's contact. There, James is round. Buller is round. Massive crash turn 1. Championship favourite. Season 1 champion is round and down to 5th place. Buller dropping down even more places. It looks like they were 3 wide and they didn't... Oh, there's a bit of lag there for I think that's Hugo and James there. James, he was up the inside, and it's like he, the driver on the outside, who I believe was Kimi, just turned in, not realising they were 3 wide, perhaps. Oh, that is there's a bit of lag again there. But yes, Ivan up into 2nd place. If the medium tyres are the better strategy, is technically now the net race leader. So that is interesting, with Forever Sin also on the mediums, on the back of James. So Forever Sin here could be an unlikely podium getter, basically. I don't know where I was going with that. There's some yellow flags in the background. Buller. Oh, it's contact! It's Joshi! Joshi and Buller have collided. Buller is one of the EDL drivers. Joshi is the co-owner of EDL. This is very interesting here, as Joshi is now dropped to the back, other than Yano. Very controversial. All battling so hard here. As Bullet leading this group of cars, then it's Manu. And it's, look at the McLarens hounding the back of Bogdan here. It could be 3 wide. And it could be 4 wide. As Fairs is going to get in, it's 4 wide. Oh, it's contact! Massive crash going into the hairpin. Bogdan, and is that Branny, have collided. And there is a safety car. Unsurprisingly, there is a safety car for that massive crash between Bogdan and Branny. Both look to be still in the race, but both have lost their wings. That is a huge crash. That was a massive crash then. And the safety car is now out. 5-second time penalty for Wilbo speeding in the pit lane. As we calm things down now, we can relax a bit more. As both Tauruses are pitted, this could bring Joshi back into the race now. And Tudor Marsdad said it was lag for Godzilla. I was watching his live stream, so unlucky there for Godzilla to lag. As this gives us a chance to look through the penalties, because I imagine there's quite a few. So let's go to the actual penalties. So Godzilla's DNF, of course, there. Lots of warnings. Mano ignoring yellow flag, 5-second time penalty. Wilbo speeding in the pit lane, 5-second time penalty. Both Toro Rossos, it looks like they've collided at some point and have both got each other 5-second time penalties. So it'll be interesting to see them. So, to run you through the grid through the order at this stage, Kimi leads the race. Ivan in 2nd. James back up into 3rd. Very good job hit for him. Josh in 4th. It is Freverson in 5th. And it is Thomas in 6th. I'm surprised more soft tyre runners haven't pitted, because surely that's the best chance they've got of getting back onto a one-stop strategy. If I was a soft tyre runner now, I'd be straight in those pits. Because when you get back on the back of the pack, yes, you're at the back of the field now. But remember, you now only have 1 more pit stop to make, which brings you in line with everyone else in the field. So would bring everyone, and you actually have better tyre wear. So yeah, you're not going to be able to make it to the end, but it'll bring you back on same level terms with the cars in front. But you will lose track position, which would hurt you. So let's look. So Kimi is in the pit lane, and I do not blame him. Maybe he's heard me speaking. Or apologies for that slight bit of issue there. And my controller disconnected, so that's on me. It was not plugged in. But Kimi has pitted. He knows his strategies, and he is heading back out onto the circuit. Only down to 10th, so Kimi, not too bad at the moment. As Thomas also pits out in 11th, so this is hurt Kimi, but I think it's helping Thomas. I feel like Thomas is one of the drivers who's gained from something like this. Kimi is, I'd say, lost out. As Fairs up into 9th place again, so this has really helped out Fairs as well. Manu, it's pretty helped a little bit. Renault's up into 6th and 7th. They're not far off the leaders now. They are back in the fight. Josh, I believe the only soft tyre runner not to pit. That could really hurt him, as he will drop. He will just, when he pits, he'll drop to the back of the field. There's no question. As the safety car comes into the chicane here. Fun feature they could add is just suggestion, as it's just up into 5th place. So let's look at the tyres and how long. So the top 9 are all haven't pitted. As, ooh, that's intriguing. And that is correct. Hugo is a lap down. Is he? No, that's... That is... Oh, as Thomas... Is that a timing glitch there that has put Hugo a lap down? Or is he actually a lap down? That is the question. He is behind the car he would be behind. And I don't think he's had that bad of a race. I think he was doing quite well up in the top guys. So it's... Oh, I am completely stupid and I'm very, very sorry. That was the tyre life. This is really... That's a Lance Stroll. It's a Lance Stroll. You're pressing radio instead of energy. So let's move on swiftly from that as the field, as Josh, speeding in the pit lane, has pit. He's going to drop to the back, but at least he'll be on the same strategy. And he's going for the hards. So I imagine if these drivers, like, as... Oh, Ivan wide there. If the drivers... Oh, and there's a bit of lag there. So Ferguson and James have got lag at the moment, so we're just going to avoid them. It's happened in Monaco Season 1, so we've seen it before. We know what's happening. They just ride each other for a bit. And, yeah, that will happen in the background. We'll ignore that. So, the hard tyre runners, if they can master tyre strategy, then maybe, just maybe, they could take them to the end. With the safety car, I think the tyres will survive till the end, but their tyres will be dead at the end. So if I was a soft tyre runner, I would, if I'm on the hards, if I was starting on the softs, I'd move to the hards. So if I'm Josh, if I'm in Josh's position, if I'm not going into a really dangerous situation where I could be getting a puncture, I'm staying out till the end, and I'm just going to defend for my life. As we'll go on board with Ivan, so we don't have to watch the James Ferguson incident. As maybe the safety car will be in this lap, the whole field is backed up now. So it's got a mix of hards and mediums now. The safety car is in this lap, so that's time for Ivan to back up the pack. And I'm gonna go. Let's see, as they're just gonna do that. As Fairs, that's gonna hurt him. Severe collision with Manu. And that's annoying. They are really annoying because they're not severe collisions; they're touches. But it's because it's under safety car it counts as a severe collision. Because look at real F1, they don't collide behind the safety car. That just doesn't make sense. And I know that you may feel like they're brake checking you, but it's a safety car. You've got to always have your foot on the brake at least a little bit. As the field heading down, I'm going to watch from the second Renault's point of view in 6th place, because you can just about not see the James and Ferguson incident. Oh, as James goes, oh, contact between the Renaults. They're backed up in the hairpin. It's carnage. That's not... I don't understand why that's caused carnage. That shouldn't cause carnage. It's a safety car. They're backing the pack up. That's fairly ordinary. So Robert surely will have to pit now. As we go on board with Tim. Slightly wide as Robert stays out despite having wing damage and a penalty. As they head on to that one, James is going for the lead. Can he go around the outside? It's not a great overtaking point around the outside. You want to maybe wait until later in the lap where you've got more of an opportunity. Ferguson up into 3rd. That's probably one of his best finishes, best positions he's ever had. I will lose the YouTube comments soon when my phone dies. So sorry about that one, guys. As James still in 2nd place. Ferguson in 3rd. Then it's just in 4th, as it looks like Ferguson might be struggling with a bit of grip. He's dropping back quite a bit, as that is Tim. Wheel to wheel, but it's just drops back. Not really a great move around the outside there. Very hard to go around the outside. As the field comes through, there's a bit of battling here. And I'm having a look there. Kimi up the inside of Thomas, and it makes it stick. Buller will want to follow that move. As we head back up to the leaders here. As James surely, even without the DRS here, because it is the restart, Ivan defending to the inside as hard as he can, squeezing James to the outside. Oh, bit of contact, but there was still space there. As it's free wide into the hairpin in the background. Tim really pushing them wide, a bit of ghosting there. That's going to help Robert come back through. Tim takes up 3rd place. Robert up into 4th. A lot of cars wide there. As that is Manu coming back on the circuit. That if he had lost the rear coming back on the circuit there, that could have been a huge crash. as it is wheel to wheel between Forever Sin, and it's just Forever Sin breaks the latest and gets that position. As oh, there's contact. There's a spin. There's a big crash in Sector 1. To first few corners. Oh, more and more cars are getting involved here. To the drivers watching the stream, really watch out going through the first few snaily section of this circuit. As that is Robert now wide. So much contact there. The drivers just I think there was contact between Manu and Robert, which caused more and more contact further back. Oh, as that is Hugo struggling on the traction there. As the field heads through the S section. Manu on the back of Forever Sin, but the entire field's on the back, as Manu has some wing damage there. He was caught up in that incident. As look at the mayhem, all the field battling their way. As look at this. Robert looks like he might be dropping down the order here, as Wheelbow's now on the back of him. Coming out through here. I'm going to keep an eye on the mini-map and keep an eye on that gap between Ivan and James, so that I know if there is going to be a move there. I'm going to head up to the front of the pack quickly, and there's no move there. As we're going to head down the field, as it is wheel to wheel for 6th place here. As there is a bit of contact perhaps, and they've all kept it clean there. Still wheel to wheel. And they head back up towards the final corner, as DRS is now enabled. As that is Robert in the pit lane. If he goes to hards now, he's still got a chance. He's still got a good opportunity at doing the one stop. As that puts Joshi up into 14th place. The Toro Rosso's down to 14th and 15th. Not a great runner for them at the moment. Josh on the back of Bogdan. The field goes through the snail. This time no contact. That's good to see. As Thomas is all over the back of Forever Sin. As that is a move there. Manu on the outside of Fairs. On the softer tyres there. On the mediums to the hards. But Manu does have the wing damage. Oh, it's contact! Oh, I really thought for a second there that that was going to be another crash. Like the Branny and Bogdan crash there. As Forever Sin with the wing damage. That's what's pushing him back into Thomas. Thomas doing his best here to get Forever Sin. Manu doing his best to get Fairs. Does Fairs have damage, or is it just purely the hard tyres not working? No, Fairs has damage, so they are really even when it comes to wing damage. As he goes to the inside line here, they're all flying through the chicane. Look at there's a wall of cars. As Fairs, oh, that's a change of lead towards the hairpin. James takes lead the race. Ivan back up the inside. He sent it. There's contact. Can Ivan maintain that around the outside? They're wheel to wheel towards the final corner. Ivan maintains lead, goes slightly wide. James with the DRS now. They're wheel to wheel for the lead of the race. As that is a 5-second time penalty for Kyle corner cutting. As James takes the lead of the race away from Ivan. Ivan will want to just try and stay on the back and keep in that fight. As there is battling behind another Alfa Romeo versus the Mercedes. It's Fairs versus Manu here. Manu still trying to fight. And he's around the outside. Can he pull that one off? That'd be an amazing move. What a move from Manu around the outside of turn 1. What a great move there by the Alfa Romeo driver. Fairs down in 6th. Forever Sin and Hugo, the teammates, now going to be battling. Buller behind them in the Ferrari. As we have yellow flag sectors 1 and 2. As that is a Toro Rosso, and that is Bogdan. Bogdan has had a incident in Sector 1. What has happened there for him? Missing wing, which is a bad sign. Ivan has retaken the lead. I'm sorry, I've missed, as there's a virtual safety car. I'm sorry that I've missed that, but Ivan has retaken the lead of the race. As we now wait for the virtual safety car to come to an end, this gives us a chance to run back through the order. Ivan still leads the race. It is James in 2nd, Tim in the Renault up to 3rd. And it's just as we go green again. This is James's best chance here. At the overtake, up the inside of the hairpin. Ivan doesn't fight it back. Can he get it down the next straight? He's not got a great exit. He's in overtake mode, but he's running out on heat of VRS. James has loads more. James is really not pushing that much behind him. He now pushes when he's in front. Ivan needs to do it now. It's now or never. He needs to start saving that ERS. And he can't do it. I think that's it now. James with the lead of the race. Tim 3rd. And as there's a big battle behind. Big group of cars here. As that is Buller into the pits, I believe. I know it's Kimi into the pits. I know it was one of the Ferraris I could see. As they're wheel to wheel, and Manu maintains position there on Fairs. As the racing points are catching up now to the back of this battle. Buller holding up a big train of cars here. Josh and Wilbo, wheel to wheel, both with front wings, which is rare in this race so far. As Wilbo looks to the inside but doesn't go for it. Wilbo on the medium tyres, Josh on the hards. You'd imagine Wilbo is quicker at this stage of the race. As Bogdan is also in the pit lane. So Robert up into 17th. So he's ahead of Kimi and Bogdan now on the same strategy. Ivan looks like he may have stayed close enough here to stay in the fight. But look at that ERS. He's going to run out down this straight so quickly. There's no way he can fight back. Surely not. Ivan is just pushing so much harder to get the lead. James is just happily watching it. Just watching the race go by. Just enjoying himself, really. As we head into the hairpin now, will Hugo be able to go for the move on its Manu? Will he go to the inside? Yes, he does. He's going down the inside into the hairpin. And he gets the move done. But will Manu fight it back? He is going to try. But can he pull it off? Looks like these mediums, the guys who started on the mediums, it's starting to hurt them now. They're starting to get near their pit window. As that is Forever Sin wide in the background. As that is a Williams who's gone very wide. That isn't a pit lane, that is very wide there from the Williams of either Wilbo. It's a Wilbo there who's gone wide. As Manu all over the back of Hugo, doing everything he can to get that 5th place away from him. But it's like Hugo is quicker at this stage of the race. Tim closing in on the leaders now. He is starting to catch up, but will he catch up quick enough to keep in the fight of this win? They're on the same strategy, so he's going to have to do it on circuit. Unless he goes for an undercut like James did to him in Abu Dhabi. Fairs up in the 7th as Joshi up into 11th, despite getting, well, a lot of contact with the Ferrari of Buller in the early stage of the race, back up into 11th. But he's not going to be able to go to the end, so he's going to lose some positions. And he has got a full wing line, which is going to give him a benefit over some of the other drivers when they pit. So looks like everyone in this race still has to pit. So Joshi is in a genuine 11th place. So he's doing well so far in this race. And with a full wing, those that have damaged wings, if they choose to replace them, are going to lose one over 5 seconds, which could help him catch back up. It's Kyle watching the battle get into the hairpin. He's all over the back of Forever Sin. And I think it's fair to say that the medium tyres are now slower than the hards at this stage of the race. As Kyle, as that is the Red Bull of Josh, I believe, into the pit lane. Same with Fairs and Manu, all in the pits, as Kyle up past Forever Sin now. Good move for Kyle. Buller on the back of this battle. Can he go for a move down the next straight? He looks pretty close. Doesn't look like he's close enough, though. Some drivers, I imagine, are trying the undercut. But will it work? Some of these drivers have gone to mediums. Josh has gone to mediums, Fairs, and Manu. Manu's gone to the hards. Those that are going to mediums, I can't see them making it to the end of the race. Because that would be 15 laps. Which, I mean, they're on 12 laps on the mediums at the moment. So actually, no, it's 16 laps, sorry. So 12 at the moment, it's doable, but I don't think it's the best option. I think Manu has gone the right way there. As train of cars through the chicane here. Hugo is on the back of It's Just. Down the straight. DRS now open. Hot lap mode engaged. They're weaving a lot here. A lot of weaving. Possibly excessive as Hugo goes down the inside of the hairpin. He's gone a tiny bit deep, and that has allowed It's Just to get the switch back. Very good switch back there. As Tim and Ivan are in the pits. James is going to have to defend from an undercut. But I think the gap's too big, perhaps, for the undercut. Who knows? We'll only know when we do see James pit. As Hugo up into 2nd place. but I believe he'll have to make another. Well, I know he'll have to make another pit stop. He can't do 25 laps on the hard compound tyres. Or maybe he can. Maybe he'll surprise us all and take the win. But it's unlikely. Joshy now up into 5th place with the top guys pitting, as he does have wing damage. He's missing his right end plate, so he is not going to gain anything in the pit window. That's not what you like to see there for the Toro Rosso driver. He's got Wilbo behind him, one of the reserve drivers, and Bullet in front of him, another one of the reserves. The reserves are doing alright today, as we have a yellow flag in Sector 1. Can't see, as there is wheel-to-wheel battling between Tim and Wilbo. Tim gets ahead. Ivan here could do a great job for James by not letting Tim past, because both of them are on the undercut. But if Tim was on the undercut with clean air, he would gain. I think he can go quicker than Ivan, but the DRS may help him. It'll certainly help him pass Ivan, but Ivan also has the DRS, so in the end it nullifies itself, as James does come into the pit lane now. So we're now on board with Tim. Looks like he's probably too far back, heading down this straight. Let's go on board with Ivan, who's going for the move on Joshy into the hairpin and pulls it off under braking. That was a dominant overtake there from Ivan. Joshy couldn't do anything, as Tim is now going to try it. What a camera angle we have here. As he goes up the inside. Was there some minor contact there as Joshy goes into the pit lane? Does Tim have some wing damage? No, he doesn't. James comes out of the pit lane and maintains lead the race. And he's all over the back of Kyle. He's going to want to get past Kyle. Kyle proved in the last race he can defend very, very aggressively, which James will want to not allow. Kyle doing well at this stage, up in 2nd place. Although he is one of the other drivers who has to pit. So does Hugo, currently in the lead of the race, needing to pit. Buller up in 4th, also needs to pit. Ivan doesn't need to pit, and he has Tim, maybe dropping back slightly now. Ivan got a much better move on Joshy, which has helped. Ivan will want to go for the move here on Buller, but James will want to go for the move on Kyle. So it's like we're going to have 2 overtakes into the hairpin of this lap. Unless James has so much more grip that he wants to go for it through this corner. He clearly has so much more grip. He's already on the back of Kyle before they've opened DRS. Great camera views here. As Kyle, he can't do anything. Kyle, he's non-ERS. He's got nothing he can do to beat James in that top end speed there. James has so much more grip coming out of the long right-hander. As Ivan and Buller some contact there. Buller pushed off circuit. As now Buller goes into the pit line. I thought he may have just been about to go straight into the back of Ivan. Tim now, the car in front of him is Ivan, and Tim is slightly better on the ERS. So you can imagine Tim is going to catch up relatively quickly here. And I'll save the ERS whilst he does so. With Bullet in the pits, where is he going to come out? Looks like he's going to come out behind this big battle here that we have. Kimi down 11th. Started on pole down 11th. There are a few cars in front of him that still do need to pit. Bullet, he's come out in 14th place, just behind Fairs and ahead of Josh. Thomas, another driver yet to pit along with Wilbo and Branny in this little midfield battle here. Got big gaps between each other. Robert, I believe, going to the end up in 9th place. Not a great showing by the Renault driver. Starting at the back though, it's still a good drive. Although he has definitely shown he's definitely the number 2 driver at Renault. As speaking of Renault, Tim, DRS now open behind Ivan. Is he too far back? He's looking close, but he's just not close enough. Surely next time into turn 1, or maybe he's got the better traction though. Ivan's having a very strong start to the season. As James, fast lap of the race. He needs to stretch that gap out now whilst he has a gap. As Tim in the DRS. Where's he going to go? He's going to go to the inside line. And straight past Ivan has Wilbo now in the pit lane, which will drop him outside the points as Branny also pits. Kyle, now one of the last drivers, along with Thomas, yet to pit. Ivan not quite close enough to fight back at this stage, as Wilbo and Branny both dropping down the order due to their pit stops. As Ivan, oh! Must have been some contact there with Tim. We'll have to see that on board after the race. No damage. Oh, it hasn't changed his front wing, which is why there is damage to that side. Oh, that is Forever Sin, who has spun it coming out the final corner. He has spun it and looks like he's avoided any walls, which is good to see. We almost had our second safety car there when Forever Sin binned it then. And dropped him down to last place. Joshy within a second of Branny at this stage. Will he close in? Branny's fresh out of the pits. Both of these guys are on relatively fresh tyres. Branny on the hards, Josh on the mediums. You'd imagine Joshy is going to catch up. Although Branny is one of the a solid driver in this league. I mean, he won the Monaco Grand Prix last season. I'm going to say that so many times, but he did. He may not be a championship contender. He may not have been a consistent front runner, but he won a race. And just to do that, even with a bit of carnage, is a very good drive. As that is a Toro Rosso, it's Bogdan. Looks like he's spun in the middle sector, which has allowed Forever Sin to catch back up to him. Back towards the front of the field now. Is there any close battles? It's just relatively close to the back of Fairs. Let's go through the order now. Jarno close to the back of his teammate. Joshy lost a lot of time on that lap too. Branny. Forever Sin here. Could he have a go at Bogdan for 18th place? He's got the DRS, but it looks like he's just too far back. Forever Sin had a good qualifying session, I believe, but doesn't look like he's quite got the pace in the race, especially after a spin all over the curbs there. And he's got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He's got the DRS, but he's not in the slipstream, which is going to cost him some top-end speed there. And will not be able to make the move. Hugo in the lead of this race, still yet to pit, though, from the hard compound tyres. Where roughly will he come out? He'll roughly come out around about 6th, 7th place. Between 6th and 7th. That sort of area. But if Hugo is still out to pit, so this is still a good race for Hugo. Will he choose to pit at this end of the lap? As this is Tim now going past Kyle. Kyle still dropping down the order. Kyle, another one of the drivers who does have to pit still. Will he pit this lap? No, he will not. These hards, they look like they're going to go a long time. Could they maybe even go to a soft tyre? I don't know how long the soft's going to last. I imagine maybe 5-6 laps. But I remember from career mode they were never that good, the softs around here, for tyre life. As James on the back of Hugo for the lead. Hugo yet to pit. James has got an 8-second gap to Tim. Looks like this gap will be good enough. Perhaps, unless Tim can catch it a second a lap. And despite Tim winning in Abu Dhabi, he won by about 7 seconds. But that was across the entire race. That wasn't a 8-lap push, so I don't think he's going to be able to catch up unless James gets held up too much here behind Hugo. James' best chance now is down the next straight. He's got that. He goes for that lower line, which is so much more grip. It's unbelievable from James. It is just amazing how, as Bogdan, 5-second time penalty for speeding the pits, as James, Bogdan's retired for the second race in a row in the pit lane. To the inside of Hugo. And just like his move on Kyle, does it before the braking zone. Oh, Hugo almost running into the back of James. That is not what you want to do to the race leader when he passes you. It'd be worse if he was a lapped car, but it's bad enough there. We'll count it as retiring the pit lane because he did press retire in the pit lane. So that isn't your fault. Tyre on the racing line, can I say? Let's have a look at this as he has left the session, as his car is on the racing line. That will scare some drivers through there. Will it be gone by the time as the drivers, look at them. I'm imagining they're backing off more than they usually would, as it is now green. But that wasn't his fault. But just when people do retire, please do it as early as possible. Do it on as you're going into the pit lane. As he heads down the straight now, following it's just into the first corner. Buller doing his best to try and get up into the points for Ferrari. He started third on the grid, now down in 12th. His teammate who started on pole, down in 9th. Not a great race for Ferrari. Good qualifying, but it really has shown what that one-stop strategy can do, even with a safety car to help them out in the early stages of the race. Buller so close to the back of It's Just, heading through the long left-hander there. Oh, he's already alongside. Well, not quite alongside, but he's got so much more grip. Within 2 attempts. Can he go for a move here? Or I thought he might have been going into the back of him there. Always look to the inside. That is not a place you can go for the move. Now, it looks like it's going to be more of a James overtake here. He's not gone quite as low as James does, and he's still definitely in a position here to get the position. With the DRS now open. In that slipstream, he's to the outside line. Can It's Just fight it back? Yes, he can. He's going back up the inside as Buller turns in, and oh, bit of contact there, but that was all clean there. Despite the contact, Buller was just, he left room, and It's Just went a little bit too wide. It's just with the slipstream and the DRS down this next straight. Can he fight back? Doesn't look like he quite can at this stage of the race. Branny, it looks like he's catching Yano, who's on much older tyres. 5-lap older hard compound tyres. They will be hurting. He's so close to the back. He's catching so quickly the McLaren driver on the Williams driver here. Can he go for the move? In the slipstream, through these corners, now in the dirty air as they head through the corners. That's gonna, as you can see, he's going wider. The dirty air is hurting him a lot through his middle sector. And as you will have noticed, the race here has started to quieten down, but it's as a trait is with the Chinese races here. At least of the 2019 Chinese Grand Prix was a bit like that. A late safety car would spice things up as it did in 2018. But it's a nice calm way to end the race, I'd say, as Hugo's still yet to pit. Some of the hard tyre runners yet to pit. They must be going to the softs. Must be going to the soft tyres. For every lap they stay out, they're losing time to the other drivers. Close battle up ahead of them is the Fares versus Kimi battle here. Fares all over the back of him, going to the inside line for Mercedes to get up into 9th place. Mercedes wheel-to-wheel Ferrari here, and gets the position done. He's on the softer tyres and the fresher tyres. Well, they're actually same life, but Fares on the softer tyres there. As that is Joshi coming into the pit lane now, and he is retired from the session. Just like his teammate, it's another no score. It's no more. It's still 0 points for Toro Rosso. They finished last in the Constructors' Championship last season, and it's starting to look like they will do again this season. Yet to score a point. We're only 2 races in, but still yet to score a point. Kimi trying to hold on now to the back of the Mercedes. Buller will now start to catch his teammate here. The reserve driver may start to catch, or maybe even pass, his full-time driver teammate. So that would be quite the showing if Buller can get past his full-time driver teammate. He's still 1.5 seconds back, but if he's able to get within that DRS, he may be able to pull it off his yellow flag sectors 1 and 2. That's just the Bogdan car. As, look at this weaving from Fares. That is close to being excessive. If Kimi reports it, and he has an onboard footage which shows all of that, and we deem it as excessive, then we will penalise it. but we'll have to set down. We maybe just warn him and say if actually, yeah, Fez, if you are watching, and the warning out, maybe less of the weaving. If you're not, oh, that is Josh who's gone wide, giving the place to Wilbo, as he's come back across the track, and Branny and Yano both past him now as well. Josh just thrown away, decent position. Branny all over the back of Yano still. As Hugo, Kyle, and Thomas all still on the tyres they started the race. I'm starting to think they're not pitting. I am starting to think they are not pitting. That could spice this race up. That could be exactly what we need. So if Hugo, Kyle, and Thomas are all, any of you listening, I don't think Thomas is, I know he doesn't usually listen to the streams, but if any of you are listening, if you can take those tyres to the end, feel free to, because I think that would make some great racing. Because pitting, yeah, it's pitting, they're just going to drop out. It's the risk of punctures they've got to weigh it up with. That's what they weigh up the risk for. As Kimi is on the back of Fairs now, as again we're getting to the crossover point between the mediums and the hards. Just as Fairs gets past, it looks like the mediums are starting to get slower than the hard tyres. And Fairs weaving a lot. That is a lot of weaving. But there is no rule on the weaving, so we'll have to come up with one. Hopefully, once Owen is feeling better, we can come up with a specific rule for that. Because Fairs, I don't know what the exact rule for. Anyone that does know it, please feel free to put it in the comments, because we may just go by the official Formula 1 rule. As Robert is now on the back of Thomas. Robert up into 7th. And if Thomas is going to the end here, to be fair, his tyres are only 4 laps worse, so it's not too much of a difference. Hugo, if he can get a podium here, that would be quite the performance for Racing Point. If he gets second, that could be crucial for James in his championship. Because Tim's catching, but is he catching quick enough? Kyle to score big points, as it looks like he is. Oh, as that's Thomas going wide. Wheel to wheel. Robert up into 6th place now. But the Red Bull driver behind will get the DRS down this next straight. It's a shame that we don't have team radio. That'd be great if we could have team radio. That'd be an interesting thing. As Thomas with the DRS. Oh, there's a yellow flag sector 3. It's a Mercedes. It's Fairs. Fairs has spun, coming out of the long right-hander. Questionable return to the track here. As multiple warnings. He's now behind Manu. It's all quickest lap of the race. That is interesting, as we're going to... I'm getting lag with a few... Okay, let's see. Am I getting lag with Ivan? No, that's good to see. Although Manu is the one that's in a battle, so I should probably watch him. As the cars, I believe, are starting to group up. As Ferrari now both cars in the points, that's a decent result, that would be. As Josh gets ahead of Jarno in the background through the first part of the lap. So I've got to run you through the order one more time before the end of the race. It is James who leads. It is Hugo in 2nd place. Tim is in 3rd. It is Kyle in 4th. Ivan in 5th. Robert in 6th. Manu in 7th. Thomas in 8th. Kimi in 9th. Buller in 10th. It's Just in 11th. Wilbo in 12th. Branny in 13th. Fairs in 14th. Josh in 15th. Jarno in 16th. And Freversin in 17th. And no drivers yet to be lapped. As it's wheel to wheel here. For 6th place, it's Manu. There's a bit of lag here. A lot of lag here. Oh, wheel to wheel here. Robert and Manu. Robert gets the position into there, but he goes a bit wide. Can Manu fight back? He's got the DRS. Surely he's got the position here towards turn 1. Yellow flag sectors 1 and 2. Oh, it's Tim! It's Tim! He spun it. Tim has spun his car. And that has surely given Hugo 2nd place. Kyle now catching up to the back of him. As these tyres are starting to go off, I think. Drivers maybe starting to struggle a bit more, as they're still wheel to wheel for 6th place here. Manu dropping back from Robert. Will he dive it? Not quite going to go for it there. As Fair's in the pit lane, probably just going for fastest lap at this stage. As Jarno looks like he's in the pit lane as well. Maybe both of them trying that same strategy. As some of these drivers' tyres are going to be really... I mean, if Tim's spinning it, if Fairs is spinning it, Hugo, 22 laps on the hard tyres, surely he must be getting near puncture. Look at the exit there that Manu had. But surely he wants the DRS down the next straight. With a battle this close, surely he wants the DRS. As James sets the quickest lap of the race on hard tyres that have been 12 laps old. As this race really heating up now, Kyle actually starting to keep up slightly with Tim. Tim just struggling on the tyres. He did well on the last one on the tyres, and it's like he's struggling this time. As Manu, to the inside of Robert, backs out of it slightly, switches back to the racing line. Robert slightly got a bit of lag here. I think Manu is struggling with some lag. But he will now have the... It looks like he's dropped back quite a bit there. And he's going to have the DRS, but will he be close enough? Thomas looking like he's going to score points here today, which is going to be crucial to stay out of that bottom 5. And those bottom 5 go into the playoffs for F1. Well, it's more of a playoff. It's not playoffs. It's just one event. Ooh, Thomas really struggling on those tyres. Ferrari's here. Buller has caught Kimi, and Kimi is catching Thomas. This race really heating up in these final few laps, just like Abu Dhabi did. As look at these guys closing under brake, and Kimi, the latest of the 3 of them, maybe a bit too late, as Buller now all over the back of him. As Ivan has caught up to the back of Kyle, and Manu holding on to the back of Robert. As... Oh! Thomas! Looks like he's lost a ton of grip there, and has lost the positions. Will it be to both Ferraris? Yes, it will be. Wide there. So these tyres are surely so close to being in puncture territory. As Buller now with the chance to pass his teammate, but up ahead. Change for 4th place. Ivan flies through into that 4th position as Kyle drops down to 5th, but still a strong showing from the McLaren driver. Robert now having to defend from Manu, and it looks like he's got a big enough gap there. Buller side by side with his teammate, and just Kimi staying in the fight. Buller doing his best. Surely Kimi's going to have to go for the switch back down the next straight. Kimi doing his best here. Doing absolutely everything he can do to get that place now. He's got the older tyres. Buller's go slightly wide. Oh, he's lost a bit of grip. He's fighting back. Oh, so close as Manu. Not able to go for the move, so I can head back to this battle here. Kimi, as Buller loses out to his teammate Kimi on the final lap of the race begins. It is so close between Robert and Manu up ahead. The battles in this field so tight. And it's not going to be able to go for a move here. There's got a yellow flag. Sector 3. Who is that for? Hugo still going. Just checking if he has a puncture. Just thinking that the yellow flag's maybe him there. But it isn't, as Freverson is now a lap down. We head back to the battles in the middle of the pack. As Buller's dropping back from his teammate, his tyres have gone off. Buller's done it too late as James wins the race. The Chinese Grand Prix for Mercedes take his first win of the season in round 2. Hugo coming around the final corner now as Freverson is sideways across the line. Hugo, what a drive from Hugo. 25 laps on those hard tyres to take them to 2nd place. What a drive there. Tim takes home 3rd place. Ivan 4th. Kyle 5th. As it's wheeled massive defence there. As he's pushed him completely off. Manu comes back on circuit. And Robert takes that 6th place. And it's Kimi, the lead Ferrari, to get 8th place. Buller 9th. Thomas to get a point. No, he doesn't. He loses extra penalties. He loses. He's dropping down the order a huge amount. I doubt he'll be beaten by his teammate here as Fairs. All over the back of Josh is wide. Josh looks like he's broken his wing. and is going to let Fairs through. As Josh now crossed the line in 15th. And final drive to cross the line, it is Jarno in 16th place. Well, that was a controversial race. 17 finishes in the end. But yeah, very, very controversial. But James wins it for Mercedes, fighting back in that championship, saying that he is not going to give up this championship to the F2 champion. He's saying he still is the champion of Torpedo League Season 1, and no matter what the new F2 guys say in round 1, he is still the quickest guy in Torpedo League. That's what he's trying to prove here. Hugo, runner-up in the F2 championship, taking those tyres so long to take 2nd place, which is an amazing, outstanding drive from him. As Tim comes home in 3rd place, take a podium from 19th to 3rd. Very good drive. Although, I would say probably against some of the people who may think in the comments. Let's have a look back. Let's get the stream back up. Any new comments? Yep, some dress drivers in here, man. Buller complaining about people not leaving space. Kyle, I'll take P5. But I would like, as Owen isn't here, I will award Driver of the Day, possibly questionably, but for me, Driver of the Day, despite finishing where they started, it's Hugo. 25 laps on those tyres. I know other drivers did it, but no one else finished 2nd. Softs to hards, what a drive there for him. What a drive. So, congratulations to James who won the race, Hugo for 2nd and Driver of the Day, and Tim for getting 3rd place. And I'd like to say congratulations to all the drivers who took those hard tyres as long as they did. But that is it for round 2 of Season 2 of Torpedo League. Just to end this by once again saying, Owen, if you're listening, get well soon. Please get well soon. We are missing you at Torpedo League. All the drivers are missing you. And the place is a mess without you. So, get well soon, Owen. And we wish you all the best. And that is it now. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And goodbye.